Last Chance Archery square up tool. Let's see how it stacks up. Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel. MFJJ here with podiumarcher.com, looking at the square up tool from Last Chance Archery. So this is another arrow squaring tool. We've seen like 5 or 6 of these now in the industry, and we've had these for like a month, and I've been out hunting. I didn't get a chance to actually go over it at all, so figured I'd throw a quick little video in here. This won't be very long because there's only so much you can really say about an arrow squaring tool, but let's see how it's different than the other ones and what they think. But in order to do that, we got to open it. All right, so here we go. You can always spot a Last Chance product by their blue tape that they put on their boxes and their plain cardboard. So this looks like, from what I can see, a decently thought out product. It looks like it is intended to be bolted to a counter, which does make life a lot easier if you're going to use it a lot. Let's chuck that. Woo! More garbage. All right. So yeah, this is intended to be screwed down to a counter or bolted down to a counter. For today's purposes, we're not going to do that. But we'll see how well it works and how well it cleans off. It does look like they gave some good thought to being able to put like an insert in here and not have it touch. Sometimes when the inserts are actually bigger than the arrow and you're trying to actually square an insert face, because you can do that with a squaring tool, try to make it go on a little straighter. So that was a nice little plus. These are really close together though, so it'll be interesting to see how it clears most fletched arrows if you're trying to put a fletched arrow in here and square it. Looks like there'll be enough room. It does look solid. Bolt together, little feetsies, and that's to hold the squaring tool, the squaring base. I'm not sure if you can adjust that height. It looks like you can. So it looks like you can move this up and down over time as you start to wear out your surface without having to replace the head of it. And those are nice bearings, bolt together system. So yeah, you're definitely going to want to bolt that down to a counter when you do that, unless you have like a table vise you can put it in. But let's take this little bugger and play with it a little bit and see how well and quickly it cleans up an arrow. Okay, I grabbed just a couple of, excuse me, I'm fighting a cough today. A couple of random arrows to try squaring the face of them on. I couldn't find one that actually had a flared insert, unfortunately, which Gold Tip has a flared insert on a lot of their standard size stuff. It's where your insert gets bigger than the arrow is where this little recession is going to help you and make it a little easier. So I'm just going to have to try to hold this down. In fact, actually, hang on. All right, it looks like it's going to hold it a little bit. Excuse me, Chloe. All right, so to see how well this works, we're going to put silver on the back end of this arrow because it's going to square it, and then you run it across it to see how fast it removes it, how much meat it's taken off, in essence. You can see that? Is that focusing? Okay. So we'll start with that. Set it on here and just hold the arrow down and flush and rotate it a little bit. And yeah, it's all gone. That was like one full rotation. So that seemed to work pretty good. Let's try an insert, a little harder material, and put black on it. Oops. So this does seem to work relatively decently well. It's smaller than like an ASD or the OMP version that's got the spinner with the squaring device on it. So this won't take up as much space, which is kind of nice. And if you permanently bolt it to a counter, it's not going to be very big, and it will probably be easier to operate than what I'm doing right here because I kind of got to hold it while it goes. All right, and that's gone. So it is doing its job relatively easily. It looked like it all came off there. Squaring tools are really handy, so I'm not going to necessarily pimp this more than a different one because they're kind of doing the same thing. But this does look relatively well made. I'm assuming it's US made because everything else that Last Chance makes is made in the US of A. So it's definitely worthwhile of a support to it. I like the bearings, whereas a lot of the other ones that you see are just a metal cut. So that definitely rolls easier and does a better job. I would argue to say this will probably do a better job than the other ones, but that's up to you guys to decide. It is a pretty impressive product. They are on the website. I want to say they're $56. Not unrealistic for what they're asking for the product. My only negative would be kind of do need to bolt it to a counter to have it work right, which you could screw it down. It comes with lag bolts, but you could probably throw a couple of screws in there, not necessarily so beefy to screw up your counter, but it does work. And if you haven't ever squared the ends of your arrows, please, for the love of God, square the end of your arrows. I can't emphasize that enough. You're not coming out of the back end of your arrow and your point coming out of the front end of your arrow are insanely important. There's nothing more important to arrow flight than the nock and the point coming out of it straight. No BS. This kind of tool does that, whether it's an ASD flip, a square up, or what other brands are out there. I know there's a couple other ones out there, but you can do this with fletching on, which is nice. It seems to be a relatively good product that works well, and it's the only one that I've seen that's bearing, which I'm comment down below on ones that exist that are bearing that I missed because I'm an idiot sometimes. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the videos that we're making here. Keep following along. Make sure to follow along on Instagram, and yeah, we have a TikTok too. We're trying to grow the channel as much as we can with your support, because that helps us overall in getting our message out there. The intellectual stuff, the teaching you how to do things, the reviewing of products and whatnot. The more we can get attention to us, the better we can get the information out that hopefully helps you all. But comment down below on whether or not that actually helps you or is a big old fat waste of your time. You can tell me that too. Thanks for following.